idea for the show.
I still don't know what the idea is.
It's about nothing.
Right.
Everybody's doing something. We'll do nothing.
They say, what's your show about? I say nothing.
There you go.
I think you may have something here.
Cross Coast Spice presents the League About Nothing podcast.
Yes, I'm here to give some legitimacy to this.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We have got our third and final season preview episode, and today we have a guest with us, the one, the only, the commissioner. Mel, how are you tonight?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
Going well. Excited to get through these teams. We're gonna go through 4 teams tonight. We've got last year's defending champion, or this year's defending champion, I should say. Actually, last year's and this year's defending champion. We got Big's team, Al's team, Mel's team, and as we teased at the end of the last episode, for some reason, my team.
Well, it looks better after the trade you just made.
Sure. Better is good. We all are striving for better at all times.
But I'm really excited to listen to Mel talk shit about all of our rosters.
I'm just excited to get on here and chop up some politics with you guys. So,
there we go.
let's talk about what people really want to hear.
So we're going to start editing already? We're going to jump back into this. We're going to go team by team. We're going to go position group by position group. And currently, the percentage chance to make the playoffs for these 4 remaining teams are fairly impressive. I'm sitting at 88%. Al is sitting at 89%. Mel is sitting at 90%. And Big is sitting at a 98% chance. I want to know what that 2% involves because I don't know.
I'm assuming some kind of apocalyptic scenario.
Sure. Plane crashes.
Where there is no playoffs.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start off on my team then, and we're gonna start off where we normally do. Well, actually, I should mention the overall rank for my roster right now is it's number 2, and a starter rank of 4. We're gonna start with the quarterback room. The quarterback rank is 6, and this is a pretty simple room. I have Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Michael Penix, and obviously Tyrod Taylor.
The linchpin.
Yes. All right, so I don't want to start off talking about my team, and we have a guest today. So, Mel, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think of this quarterback room?
I mean, it's solid, man. I like the having it thin. You don't have to worry about these guys. Penix is the biggest question mark, and we've got some time before anything happens there. If he is awful, and obviously if he's great, then you're looking pretty good. I think Tyrod at a 0 there is just insulting. That's not appropriate value.
KTC, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
He wasn't even in KTC's database for a while there. I'm not sure why.
It's insulting.
Come on, man. This isn't Josh Johnson.
I'll bet you Josh Johnson's higher. Has he hit half the league yet? Is he at 14 teams still?
He's played.
He's the primary backup somewhere, isn't he? Here in Washington.
He's your primary backup. He's in Washington.
He is
I got there, man. I got there.
Well traveled. Well traveled.
That's the thing. He's been in Washington before, though, so I know that.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't add to his list of teams that he's been the backup for.
No. Well, did he play for the?
It was when they were still the Redskins. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I thought.
There we go. That counts.
Yeah, but it's not a new franchise. Yes, it's a new team name. That's fair. It really, like I said, it comes down to what Penix does this year. Herbert and Mahomes are both probably back end 1, high end 2 options. They're both going to give solid weeks. They're not going to give the big
you have
boom
the draft
weeks,
capital to fill holes if one of them gets injured or whatever. Like you're not hard off to buy another one. And
spoiler alert.
I've been trying to refine my kind of QB rostering technique here, and it's nice when you can really just have that concrete room of 3 or 4 guys and not have to have a bunch of question marks, and hopefully Kirk Cousins and Russ.
Right.
This is the roster construction that you're looking for in a QB room. You got 2 locked in QB1s, and then you've got the high upside QB3, where if he pans out and he becomes what we thought he was when he got drafted, and what they thought he was after a 4-game sample last year, then you're golden. You don't have to worry about the quarterback position for a long time.
it's a slimmed down quarterback room from what I've had in recent years. I was rostering a lot of backups to try and flip them when the time, if injuries came in season in the last few years. And now I'm leaning more towards what Al always touts and trying to not have those zeros as an option every week and have more guys at the back end of the running back and wide receiver rooms who might actually make a lineup.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch you flip the switch to be a more competitive roster. And yeah, that was a big piece of it, getting rid of all the guaranteed weekly zeros. It's one thing if you've got receivers and tight ends and running backs that have potential to score points every week. And if those guys hit a zero, well. But when you have guys that are guaranteed to hit a zero every week, it's tough to roster a lot of them and be competitive.
That Montgomery trade, man.
Well, speaking of, let's go over to the running back room. This one's a little bit uglier, for lack of a better word. It's a running back rank of 11. There's really not a lot to talk about here. I've got Ashton Genty, 101 in this year's rookie draft. The recently acquired, as in a few hours ago today, David Montgomery, Isaac Guerrero, Woody Marks, Jordan James, and Raheem Sanders. It's a pretty slim list there.
Yeah, Rocket's out of a job, so.
Oh, did he get cut? I haven't been checking the last couple hours.
Shockingly.
He did. He'll probably end up on the practice squad, but temporarily out of a job.
It was bound to happen, here and there where guys at the back of the rosters would lose spots either temporarily or permanently.
Yeah, any of these.
It's never the dudes with a nickname, though.
Yeah, it's true. It is a good nickname, especially for a running back.
Exactly.
Better than Molasses. Good old Molasses Sanders.
One that doesn't show up on this list on this page, and I don't even know if he's in the KTC database, is Nathan Carter, who looks like he got the third running back spot in Atlanta, which I don't know that that's going to provide a whole lot of value, but it's a good depth piece.
I mean, with this roster and this construction, considering where you were last year at this time, really any running back on a 53 is helpful for you.
I'm pretty sure last year at this time there were none.
It's a very low barrier to entry to making your starting lineup. Well, it was low before you added Montgomery. You really didn't have a legitimate second option at running back. So at least now with Genty and Montgomery, you're not in as big of a hole. But before this, any of these guys that could get you 5 points a week was useful, better than a zero.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have been getting 5 points a week without adding Montgomery there.
Yeah, I think you got a bunch of backups, and that's kind of, it makes sense in your situation to roster as many of these guys as you can without a lot of depth at the top. You need to take as many shots as you can.
I mean, there's people out there that think Marks is, in contention for the job right now.
Yeah. I think he's in contention for the job just because I don't think they like the options that they have. And I think that includes him.
Right.
It doesn't look great behind Mixon there. We know Mixon's going to miss at least the first four, so presumably he'll have at least some opportunities.
Yeah, if we see what we saw from Chubb last year, again this year, he's not long for the job. We don't know what we're going to get from Mixon. That's really a nebulous situation. They have no timetable for his return. That's not a great thing to hear. And when he's been rehabbing for how many months now since he had the ankle issue last season. I mean, if they haven't figured it out by now, that's not a great sign for him. And we know how much they hate Dameon Pierce. So there's not a lot of giant hurdles for Woody Marks to clear to get some opportunity here. What he does with it is another story. But I mean, Guerrero unfortunately got buried with the Brian Robinson trade, and same thing with Jordan James. Those guys were looking a little better a week ago. Yep.
Yeah, that trade really did push those two down the depth chart there, and I'm not thrilled at that.
The one thing we know about 49ers running backs is they're all going to get an opportunity if they're on the roster.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of McCaffrey managers who hope that you're wrong.
They've already sent 7 running backs to IR, and we haven't even started the season yet.
Crazy. I remember back in the draft, I was trying to choose between two guys when I was on the clock when I ended up taking Jordan James. I was picking between Jordan James and Ollie Gordon. And I said, I'll go James because, I've already got Garendo, and even if he passes Garendo, that backup role is still super useful. That's a whiff.
Yeah, I hear
Things
you. I didn't end up with any Ollie Gordon, I don't think. Like maybe in best ball, but
yeah,
I whipped on that one too.
I have him, I
thing,
think, in one league.
things change quickly at the running back position in the NFL. That's why you take as many shots as you can. Anyone that's on a 53-man roster has a shot to run into carries at some point.
Yeah.
Just
And
take as many as you can roster.
right. Once we get a little bit better word who actually made every 53, and we'll see, like what the depth charts look like, maybe I'll be able to pick up a guy or two on waivers here that are at least rostered.
Yeah.
All right. We spent way too long discussing the second worst running back room only by virtue of Mr. Good News being a complete rebuild. All right. Let's move on to the wide receiver room. This wide receiver room is ranked third. I got Puka Nakua, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tetairoa McMillan, Rashee Rice, Luther Burden, Raheed Shaheed. I'm going to pause there. Oh, I don't know if Shaheed and Burden should have been in that list, but those are the big names at the top.
It's a nice group.
It's a pretty big change from what this room looked like basically a year ago.
Yep.
Yeah, you've done a lot of work, able to add a lot of quality depth between rookie picks and trades. This is one of the reasons that your team is now in the contending tier versus the pretender tier like it was last year.
Well, speaking of the tiers, I should have mentioned all four of the teams that we're discussing today are in that contender tier. I don't think that we actually read the definition of the contender tier, did we?
No, this is the first time we've had someone in the contender tier.
Al, do you have that definition handy?
This tier is for the teams that rank the highest in the league. A contender has a strong chance of making the playoffs and a good chance to win it all.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. But
Yeah, right. I don't think I needed to read the definition for that.
no, but we read all the other ones, so it's good to see.
Consistency.
This room is ranked third, but I think a lot of that is projection. Guys like JSN broke out last year, but I think people are still projecting a little bit extra this year, which, he hasn't done in the past. He very well might. McMillan is complete projection because he hasn't played a snap yet. Rashee Rice is, projection of coming back healthy and also not being suspended for 10 games or whatever the NFL is seeking in that case. Same thing with Burden, never played a snap. There's a lot of unproven guys here that have very high values on KTC.
Yeah, there's a lot of projection, a lot of fake dynasty value where guys are young, so they're worth a lot versus what they've actually produced. But I mean, the guys that you're talking about, we've seen it from Rice before. We saw it from JSN last year. Tet got drafted in a position where you expect him to be highly productive right off the bat. So it's not, I don't think it's unwarranted projection.
No, I don't. The top four at least are any one of them has a decent shot at being a top 12 guy this season. Not a good shot. And Burden, I'm excited about Burden. It's a good room, man. I like that you have that much upside in the Rice thing. I don't know. It's interesting. Like, what do you guys think is going to happen with him?
I figured they'll probably come to an agreement on a suspension, and he'll end up with like 7 games or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 to 8 probably makes sense.
Yeah. Anything could happen. What do you expect?
To be honest with you, they asked for 10 plus, and they're going to negotiate that down somewhere to probably what you guys said. I think it's interesting to think about when.
Yeah, it's true.
When does that is it playoffs? Because that sucks.
Yeah, the timing of the hearing is strange. I guess it's the reason for the timing is because the timing is with a non-NFL arbitrator or whatever. It's someone outside of, it's like the government appointed person, which makes sense. They're not working on the NFL schedule. So,
Right.
But at the same time, you'd think that both the team, the player, and the league would want this handled before that. And we keep seeing with these, last minute contracts like McLaurin and Hendrickson and all that, like once you get close to a deadline, I don't know, maybe they'll actually figure it out.
Right, because the other suspensions, we saw Addison and Demarcus Robinson. Those ones have already been handed down. Those players are already on the suspended list.
Well, I
Anyway,
remember reading that there was like speculation that Addison would appeal, and it's interesting that everyone was just like, "Nope, I'll take what you're giving me," and there wasn't. I don't know. I guess there probably was negotiating behind the
The
scenes,
NFL,
but not that public.
the NFL is a weird system where you have to appeal to Roger Goodell, who hands down the sentence. So it's like, it's not, I don't know if you're just spinning your wheels at that point. Only the NFL gets away with that.
I think that's been challenged in court as well, and I don't know if they're going to be able to continue getting away with that.
They shouldn't.
No, and there was the fact that the NFLPA ever agreed to that in the first place is insane.
Imagine any other place you worked where you
Yeah. Well, this is like when cops investigate their own misconduct. Like
Right.
we've investigated and found that we did nothing wrong.
And found no wrong.
right.
All right, but
I agree with
can
my
the rest
previous
of us
ruling.
investigate, maybe. Like I said, let's get into the politics now.
So this wide receiver room, I mean, you've got the big stars at the top, and you've got a lot of depth sprinkled throughout.
Yeah,
I
first
mean,
round pick Raheem Shaheed.
Some worth a first round pick for sure. Like you have some guys here. It's not empty depth, Well, okay, KJ Osborne maybe empty depth, but
Hey, he's gonna sign back with Minnesota. You just wait.
if he does, he'll be right in the starting lineup.
It's a good thing
He
Big's
might.
not
I mean,
here. He
that's
could
not
hold that
crazy.
fifth round
He might.
pick. Oh, you could hold that fifth round pick that I traded for Osborne last year over my head. Go ahead, Mo. What were you saying?
Oh, I was agreeing that he might end up in Minnesota again. That's a good call.
Yeah, they need someone for that while Addison is suspended, and
Naylor's
He's-
hurt as well, so they're
yeah.
really struggling right now.
yeah, he's been there before.
Well, that they're
He's-
going after Thielen or something like that.
Yeah, the latest reports on the Thielen thing was that they couldn't come to an agreement on price with Carolina, which makes you wonder what the heck is Carolina asking for Adam Thielen? Like,
Right.
take the seventh and move on.
Because they just picked up a couple of extra picks in the Sam Howell trade, so they have the ammunition now. I assume that was the reasoning behind that trade.
How much could Adam Thielen's trade value honestly be?
Well,
I bet you it's more than a 7.
these guys
Carolina.
usually go for 6th, 5th, maybe
I mean,
conditional
he's-
picks,
How old is Thielen? Like 33?
right? And they would probably prefer to have him off the roster because they kept 7 receivers, and they have a bunch of young guys that they want to play.
Yeah,
Yep.
they probably are planning on him being off the roster. They probably expected the trade to go through, today, tomorrow, whatever, and they just, will re-sign someone else after that. All right, so the bottom of this room here, after Shaheed, Pop Douglas, Troy Franklin, Luke McCaffrey, Savion Williams, John Mechie, Ty Felton, Tyquan Thornton, and obviously KJ Osborne. We'll see if he signs anywhere, if he lasts here. Pop Douglas should provide at least a weekly floor. The rest of these guys are just lottery tickets, basically.
I regret trading him too.
Regret trading him. I think it was at the time it was pre-draft, so it was easy enough that he could have been replaced, by the team in the draft, and maybe we'll find out he has been, but it was also pre a lot of the free agent stuff, and he easily could have lost his job. He didn't seem super secure. It was kind of a bet against him, which is not the worst bet to make.
To be honest with you, I expected more and knew that it was a possible hook to get you into the trade, but no, I've regretted it. I've regretted it since I sent it.
Yep.
I'm interested to see what the Patriots do with that wide receiver room. I think they kept 8 receivers on the initial 53. I assume that's going to change. You may see someone like Bourne end up on a reserve list since he wasn't able to play all preseason or practice. But yeah, it's
thought they were
interesting they kept
talking
8
about-
guys.
They kept him?
Yeah, they kept 8
They kept Bourne?
receivers.
Yeah.
On the initial 53, right now they have 8. That may change tomorrow when waiver claims go through, but yeah, they kept a lot of receivers, so could be some ugly rotations.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a signal that like maybe Diggs isn't 100% and can't play the full complement of snaps. Or I mean, like it seems like they've been saying he's fully healthy and ready to go, but it's a fast recovery for a guy his age.
Yeah, we'll see. They need him. They don't, for all the receivers they don't have any real true target earners. It's just a bunch of role players again.
Yeah.
Better than last year, but
Which is
still not
why
great.
Pop Douglas is going to have 87 catches this year.
I mean, as long as he doesn't turn him into Wan'Dale Robinson and turn 87 catches into 400 yards.
Listen, man, that scores points in this league.
Right? I don't care how he gets the points. I just want the points to be there.
3 yards a catch. He's not getting first downs with that. He's not getting bonus points.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to catch the ball, as they say.
Yeah, there's a couple guys here that could pop up. I mean, you got Tyquan Thornton, surprisingly made the roster.
More
really
Patriots
off-season.
receivers.
Well, Chiefs now, so it's a really cheap stack for you. I mean, we know he's fast, so if he gets on the field, it just takes one play to make your lineup. If he gets just one long touchdown, he's in there. Guys like that are useful depth in the best ball of this size.
It seems like they're putting him into that Justin Watson role where he's going to be on the field every time they go like 4 wide or something and just run clear outs all day.
Sacrificial X role.
Yeah, that's fine. If he catches, 3 long touchdowns a year, that's worth the end of roster spot.
Right, exactly.
Too long on this wide receiver room. Let's move over to the real star of the show here. This is the tight end room with the rank of 1. Mel, I'm sorry, you're no longer number 1. Big, I'm sorry you're no longer number 1. I know we've all had it at one point over the last few months. Back to me. Thank you very much. Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren, Isaiah Likely, Jake Ferguson, Terrence Ferguson, cornered the market on the Ferguson brothers, Pat Fryermuth, Arante Gadsden, AJ Barner, and then some backups.
My God, that's so many tight ends. This is insane.
I had Waller up until
this is after you traded away Waller. You still have by far you have the most talent and the most players. Like the breadth and depth of this tight end room is just stupid. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it. Makes me feel bad. Makes me feel bad about myself.
All right, so
Likely is overrated, man.
Likely is overrated. Yeah, you're probably right.
Excuse me, he's not overrated. Overvalued.
Kalar is better anyway.
Okay, no one believes.
Listen, if Andrews, when you picked him up, when it looked like Andrews was out of there, I was like, God damn it!
I've been rostering him for like 6 years.
No, but you dropped him, then you picked him up again. You had a transaction, and I was like, God. And so I did it in a 16-teamer, and I got the grad cap for it. And that's thanks to you.
There you go. I love taking things from LAN and being like, oh, somebody picked that guy up? Well, let me go check and see. And like I check all my other leagues and I'm like, oh, he's available in 2 of them. Great.
One day you're going to come to LAN and the waiver period is going to run a little bit earlier.
You're just gonna change it from the 8 a.m. to back to the 2 a.m. default or whatever.
15, no, just 15 minutes earlier, so we can see what everyone's picking up.
Change all the bids in the other leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough overlap in some of the other leagues that, like, there's 2 or 3 people in almost every league that I'm in that are in LAN, so it's definitely interesting to see who tips their hand where first.
Yeah.
The expanded Melverse.
The expanded Melverse. But we got Bowers coming back. He's the tight end 1, much to big chagrin after Laporta hit tight end 1 in last year's offseason and then fell off in terms of value, if not in, production and everything. But
aren't you worried about the preseason where he barely played any snaps and Michael Mayer has been playing the majority of the early down snaps?
Terrified. No, I don't. I'm not worried in the slightest. But it doesn't thrill me that 2 of my anchor players are both on the Raiders. Not a huge fan of that. To be completely honest.
Listen, Chip Kelly.
You want to buy Gino?
Chip Kelly, offensive genius, is now their coordinator. What could go wrong?
Did you hear Pete Carroll was like he's like one of the best players I've ever seen or something like that?
He says that about everybody. It's Petey Sunshine.
I say, yeah,
Pete hasn't
ever spoken poorly of a player in his life.
Everybody's the best player ever.
No, I'm I don't know. I'm worried about Chip Kelly. How long until he trades Ashton Genty for Kiko Alonso?
Oh.
All right, we're gonna move on from that show. Yeah, so,
humor.
so this tight end room is basically the thing that I've put the most work and effort and draft capital into in rebuilding this team.
Yeah, we can tell.
We we play in a tight end premium, start 2 tight ends. You know, we've got, what is it, 4 flex spots that tight ends are also eligible for, something like that. So, you know, these guys can be littered all over your lineup if they all produce, and hopefully I get 2 good ones every week.
We've been talking about how important tight ends are on this podcast for like 3 years now. So
beating that horse into the ground right there.
They're overrated in this league. They're overvalued. You guys overvalue them. You inflate the value of tight ends in this league. I think it's a mean. You absolutely do that. It's just, you know, like.
All right. So the only real question on the tight end room for me is I've got Warren and I've got Terrence Ferguson. Do either one of those guys pan out? If one of them, you know, especially Warren, pans out the way that people expect, you know, I'm in great shape. If they don't, I'm still in good shape, but not nearly as good.
I mean, you got the tight ends in this class that I was trying to come out with.
Awesome.
You know?
Glad to hear it.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, everyone wanted Tyler Warren, but like, you know, Terrence Ferguson was a nice 3rd round pick, and Gadsden is Syracuse guy, so I'm a fan.
Yeah, we're a fan of his dad because we're old. I remember the old Sports Center top 10s where Aronde Gadsden Sr. was making one-handed catches every week.
Yeah. I don't remember that. But...
That's how old I am.
Well, we're the same age.
I remember it too. I'm right there with you.
You guys have some crisp memories. Fryermuth got knocked quite a bit with that.
He got knocked a lot in terms of like KTC value with Jonnu showing up, but I'm not really sure that he's actually going to produce that much less because
yeah, I wouldn't be.
They don't really have a lot of pass catchers. They can throw to both of them, and
it's Arthur Smith.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
they're going to the tight end.
I'm not sure his role changes much because he wasn't. It's not like he was playing 90% of the snaps last year. Like he was going to probably do the same thing he did last year. He's going to play in line. He's going to play 60% of the snaps, the same thing he did the previous year and the year before that. You know, they like to use 3-4 tight ends. I mean, they're going to be on the field a lot. Again, they don't have any receiving threats outside of DK. So there's plenty of targets to go around. It doesn't take much to be productive at tight end.
Washington's role is like concrete. I mean, they both have quite a bit of space to do something in this offense.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I would be discouraged.
Fryermuth was the tight end, I can't remember, 9 or 10 last year, and he had like 65 catches. I don't think that's out of
Was he really?
Yeah, he was top 10 last year. He's been
tight end is terrible. Tight end is a wasteland.
A top 10 tight end both years that he was healthy in the last 3.
Which is all you need to know about tight end scoring because nobody wants him. These back end tight end ones, I mean, it's just there's not a lot of separation between tight end 8 and tight end 20. It's not a huge gap.
Yeah. I look at it, I just pulled it up. 3 of the last 4 years, he's had at least 200 points. The one year he didn't, it was the year he got hurt, only played 12 games. As a rookie, he finished tight end 13. 2022, he finished tight end 8. 23, he was hurt. He finished 29th. And then last year, he was 9th.
Well, finished what? In PPR? Or
in PPR tight end scoring. So, I mean.
But not tight end premium. Like, I guess that doesn't necessarily.
I mean, it's basically going to stay within one ranking spot. I mean, it might change it a little bit if one guy has more catches and fewer touchdowns or vice versa, but it's basically going to stay the same. So, I mean, his worst finish in a healthy season in his 4-year career is 13th. And he's a number 1 tight end. Back end number 1, sure, but useful depth.
Yeah, especially in this league where people are rolling out questionable starters in their lineup every week. Guys that aren't even starting tight ends on their own teams.
Right.
It's,
Oh,
it's
who was
so
it?
hard to find tight ends.
Was it George and Mike that we discussed where Austin Hooper's going to make the lineup a lot?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
currently his best option for his tight end
Listen,
two spot. That's a weekly starting spot. You have to start two tight ends, whether you like it or
Austin
not.
Hooper is gonna put up some points this season.
He did last year.
He's a top 24, top 30 guy. Like I bet he finishes the season around there, which isn't, great in most leagues, but in this league,
Yeah, because
you know,
tight ends are awful.
it's the best part, man. Should do a tight end only league.
Tight end.
Tight ends.
Right, that's
Right.
your. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. Joining us via satellite connection is the one, the only Mr. Big Biscuits. Big. Good evening.
Oh, no shit.
Guys. Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, what's happening?
All right, so this marks the first time in podcast history, any podcast
Chuckle.
anywhere, that we've had four managers on at once. You've missed quite a bit. We've made it through half of my team.
All right, sounds like
Yeah.
I'm here in time.
Yep. Do you
The
have?
good half or the
Listen.
bad half?
We're going to finish off this tight end room. We're going to move over quickly to the draft capital room, and then we're going to move on from my team because this has been way too long. All right. I have a draft rank of 3. There's some extra picks here in the future. 2026, I have 2 first-round picks, one of my own, one of JMC's, my own second, JMC's third, and then a bunch of fifths. 27, my own pick in the first round, and Flea's pick in the first round. My own pick and Flea's pick in the second round. And then all my own picks and Flea's pick in the fourth round. I'm pretty sure none of those picks came directly from Flea. I'm pretty sure I know the first and the second came from Al. So none of these, everything took a circuitous route to get here. So basically, long story short, I've got a couple extra first round picks and an extra second.
I think you're doing a good job to turn around the team and still have this much depth.
I've been,
Which, that's the golden goose that laid the golden egg.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what it does is give you flexibility if you need to add throughout the season. There's definitely depth that could be added if this team is going to be truly competitive as much as it is in the rankings right now. It looks like a playoff lock, but you can always add pieces. Players are always going to get hurt. Roles are going to change throughout the season. Having that flexibility of not only your own picks, but spare picks, extra picks that you can throw around is definitely helpful.
I've tried to be cautious with spending all of these picks before I'm actually ready to compete, because we've seen some rapid turnarounds in this league. Like we saw a couple years ago where Flea went from having basically the most empty roster you've ever seen to having, the team that put up the 6th most amount of points in the playoffs a year later. But I don't want to go out and spend all these picks and not put myself in at least that strong of a position.
Yeah, because what happens if you give up all your picks? Then you're in a very inflexible position. You're stuck with what you have, and you're not able to make moves and stay liquid, as I like to say.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of what makes this league so unique, is that people, for the most part, are so aggressive and that these swings are so dramatic. I guess the last couple of years, it's been a little bit easier to do these like 1-year turnarounds than maybe it had been in the past. But I feel like other leagues, you don't see this dramatic of shifts.
Yeah.
It's because we have a very aggressive league, and it's not a stagnant league. There's a lot of trades that happen. I mean, we have more trades in a week than a lot of leagues see in an entire season. That adds to your ability to change your roster construction. If you're in a league that nobody trades, or you see 1 or 2 trades a season, there's not a lot you can do. There's no point in having the extra picks to throw around if you can't actually buy anything with them. In our league, it's definitely handy. Unless you're big, then you don't need any picks. You can make 1 million trades with nothing.
I start getting scared late in the season, that's for sure. That you're just gonna unload all those, and the house of cards comes falling down.
You were going into the playoffs last year selling off players to get picks.
That's pretty cool, huh?
So I actually do kind of want your perspective on having these extra picks on the roster, because you've gone the other way. you had a team that you were like, hey, this team's a legit contender. I've got the opportunity to put something special, and you have spent into the future. Right now, spoiler alert when we get to your team, but you don't have picks in the next 2 drafts outside of like a few minor pieces here and there. So you've done the thing where you spent ahead, and obviously it paid off. You won the title last year. So what's your thought about reserving some of these picks now as opposed to going all in with them?
Well, I think it all started with acquiring a bunch of picks in the beginning anyway. So I wouldn't have had the turnaround that I did if I didn't have that one really good draft. And I think that's it's not just, oh, let's go spend every pick I have and try and load up and win once. I had a bunch of picks, had some success, and then saw that it was time to be a little bit more aggressive with it. I think that's a unique or important distinction. I like to put it on credit. I like to pay, my picks now and then try and get some more before the draft next year. If you want to slow me down, just don't trade with me next offseason. But
do you think we want to drive you insane? Because
Well-
you were going stir crazy this year and we still were trading with you.
that's the decision you got to make. What would you rather deal with? I'm going to be annoying either way, so you just pick your version that you choose. But no, I don't think it's just a matter of, I don't know. We were talking about earlier how much trading happens in this league, and I feel like it's slowing down right now a little bit, but towards the end of last season and then over this off season, I'm interested to see if that keeps up once everything goes. But my point being that I feel like everyone's kind of reached a point where they're waiting to see what happens next before they make an aggressive move one way or the other.
I think having the picks it gives you like a universal currency. If you have nothing but players, you have to find someone who wants your players to trade. You got to be a little bit more creative. When you have picks to spend, everybody will take picks at some point in the year, whether it's in the season if they're rebuilding or in the off season when they're getting excited for the draft. It acts really like a universal currency.
Would you say they're like liquid?
Right. Exactly. You got it. I just wanted you to say it.
Well, the interesting thing is, and I mentioned it here, like these picks get traded around multiple times as well. Like Mel mentioned that it's interesting how quickly we've been able to see some teams just flip the switch and reset from, rebuild to contender. And that's because there's so many picks floating around that aren't the team's own picks. Because a lot of people are more willing to trade away those extra picks as opposed to their own. Like a lot of people just want to hold on to their first. But like when I got someone else's first, well, it's kind of free money. It's not mine. It doesn't matter what happens almost. And it allows some of these teams that we've seen to acquire just an absolute, treasure trove of picks. And it's interesting that that's an option basically all the time in this league. Anyone got any thoughts on any of these picks? And Big, do you have any thoughts on the other parts of the roster that you were not here for before we go on to the next team?
It's a better roster than I remember. I hate to say it.
Very begrudging right there.
Yeah. No, it's genuinely scary. But you have a good roster with a lot of picks to like we just went over. You can do anything you want with those. You can hold them. You can say, okay, this isn't going to be the year, or you can scare the Jesus out of us, and you can start spinning them all, and who knows what happens in.
Yep. Well, time will tell. We got to wait until people actually want to sell. Nobody wants to move anything right now. You said it a minute ago. Everybody's in that holding pattern, and let's see how the first couple of weeks shake out.
Well, yeah, we've talked about how tight these rankings are. We have eight teams that are in the frisky tier, so everybody's right on the edge of either being a playoff team or being right on the outside. Nobody's ready to commit one way or another yet.
I think that is far too long spent on my team. Let's move on. Next on our list with that, I see an 89% chance to make the playoffs. By the way, they also get projected records. Mel, Al, and I are all projected at 17-11. Big, you're projected at 19-9. So someone here has to beat him, please. The next highest percentage team, Al, you are at 89% chance to make the playoffs. We got that roster pulled up. We have an overall rank of 1. This is all based on keep trade cut value. I pulled today within 150 points of your keep trade cut total value. I plan on passing you tomorrow, so I will be number 1. Thank you. You have a starter rank of 2. We're going to start at the quarterback room. You are currently listed at 7 in the quarterback room. You have Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, and then some guys who we thought were going to start but didn't end up being starters, and Anthony Richardson and Tyler Shutt.
I said I said a few months ago, I'm going to have between 3 and 5 starters. Turns out it's going to be closer to 3.
Yep. 3.5. Goff, Dak, and Tua all basically fall into this same category to me, where they're all good pocket passers on good offenses, solid quarterbacks to have, but none of them are those big flashy names. None of them have a massive, keep trade cut trade value. They don't have they don't have as many boom weeks as the running quarterbacks, but they are all going to be very steady for your roster.
Yeah, they're boring.
I mean, you're going to get the boom weeks from Dak this season, aren't you?
That's true. That's probably a good point.
To me, they're all in the same tier. They're boring vets, guys that are not going to be quarterback 1 overall, but probably not going to be quarterback 25 either. They're going to sit in that low quarterback 1, high end quarterback 2 kind of range all season. That's kind of what I expect. Just try to get a bunch of them and hope that every week somebody gives me a decent score.
I have a bone to pick with the community having Cam Scatabo above Jordan Mason on keep trade cut value.
Hold your horse. We'll get to the running back. We're on the quarterback. The running backs are next. Don't worry.
This is
do your time.
I have the same complaint.
I see.
Side combo.
So the real question is, you traded for Richardson last offseason. You experienced the good games, and then
Yeah, you like to keep bringing that up, huh?
Yep, I'm going to bring that up till the day I die.
This team would look a lot better with Justin Herbert in here, I think.
I think you're probably right.
Whoops.
So the question is, have you given any thought to trying to move on from Richardson right now?
Sure. Does anybody want Anthony Richardson? Let me know.
No fucking point now.
Don't do it now. Don't do it now.
The good news is he's still taxi squad eligible, so I just stick him in my taxi.
Right.
That's great news.
So his weekly zeros won't hurt me.
Mel, I'd like to propose a change to the taxi squad. It's one of those where he still has that theoretical upside, and I don't think there's a large market for him, but if one of the teams in the bottom third of the league decides to go from maybe I'm contending to maybe I'm rebuilding, you might be able to.
Is Daniel Jones going to play a whole season now?
God, it doesn't seem like it.
For the Colts' sake, I would hope not. Unless they're trying to lose as many games as possible.
Which
they might be.
Right.
So they can draft a new quarterback next year.
Right. Right.
I guess I'm
guessing the quarterback that's going to start for the Colts next year is not currently on their roster. That would be my assumption.
We already discussed it. Is it Riley Leonard there? Is that who the third stringer is?
No,
Yeah.
It's not going to be Riley Leonard.
Well,
Please
no, but he might end up
stop
starting.
No.
Would it shock you if Riley Leonard started the last 3 games of this year?
I drafted him on that premise.
Yeah.
Right. It wouldn't shock me
literally.
if he got in before Richardson did.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Well, it's an interesting situation to watch, and I still think that Richardson will have some trade value at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
NFL trade value or fantasy trade value?
Fantasy.
Does Trey Lance still have trade value?
I get
in this league?
If they do play Richardson and he puts bad film out there, then it's just a disaster. That's one reason I think they could just go to Leonard and see what they have. Like you said, getting ready for the 26 quarterbacks. Maybe just they know what they have in Richardson. I think they'd be giving him more of a chance if they thought there was anything left there. I think they're just done with him and riding it out.
We discussed it before. They drafted Tyler Warren, but he could still just take over that tight end room.
They could play Tyler Warren at quarterback.
It's true. He could throw.
Worked pretty well for Penn State.
Yeah.
He might be their best quarterback.
Wait, are we going to move on before we talk about Shook?
You don't want to talk about Shuck?
I didn't. I was
Shuck
trying
is-
to avoid that. Yeah, he lost the starting.
He's definitely starting
he lost
games
the
before
camp
Anthony
battle to
Richardson
Spencer
does.
Rattler. We don't need to spend.
Yeah,
any
I would
time
put money
here.
on that.
Yeah, no. He's fine. He's going to play.
Yeah,
fine.
he'll play half the games in like.
He may start as soon as week 2. I mean, week 1 against the Cardinals could be bad for Rattler.
I'm saying week 2 or 3 for sure.
Based on how he played last year and also the preseason, they were both bad. But Rattler's a veteran. He's going to get the veteran deference. We'll see how long it lasts.
He played like six games last year.
6 games. Hey, okay,
I mean,
he was
it's probably more
0-6.
Giving time to Shuck, right?
Do I think Shook is good? No, but we'll see what happens.
He'll get some starts.
We're going to go to the running back room and let Big get out his Jordan Mason take in just a second. But let me read some names first. We got at the top, Jahmyr Gibbs, Cam Scatabo, Jordan Mason, Tyler Algier, Isaiah Davis, Miles Sanders. I'm going to stop reading because the rest of these guys are pure backups, and I'm pretty sure one of them didn't make the team. All right.
I think all of them are pure backups. What do you mean?
Yeah, no, it's fair. So this is really just Jahmyr Gibbs and then
And a load of crap.
Huh?
Jahmyr Gibbs and a load of crap.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, and hope you get something usable at running back too.
Yep, that's the plan.
Big, you were saying before Mason and Scatabo, go.
Well, it's not too crazy of a take. I just think that Scatabo is, what is he? He's Tyrone Tracy's deep backup and
Singletary's backup.
Singletary's backup probably. He hasn't done anything flashy.
No, that's crazy talk.
He's the number 2. He'll run with he was running with the 2s, and the coaching staff has spoken highly of him, even though he's been hurt.
My expectation for Scatabo is that he plays on passing downs because he's good, and the other 2 are very bad on passing downs. Neither of them can
He's
pass
slow
block,
as fuck.
and they're both bad receivers. But Cam can block, and he's a good receiver. So I assume at some point he takes over on obvious passing downs. Anything more than that is gravy. He's got dynasty value because he's a rookie. That's it. Pure and simple.
I'm just personally totally out, but it's not really a hot take. It is what it is.
Is it a speed thing?
This is
or
a
is it
limited.
something else?
It's a limited ceiling player.
Right.
I'm happy to have him in best ball.
Yeah, best ball's the spot you want him because you don't know when those 2-minute drills are going to come or things like that. Big, you said you're completely out. Is that just purely based on the fact that he ran a 4.7, or is it some other reason?
I wish I could, give you a perfect answer here.
Yeah.
I have 0 shares across all my leagues. I just have not been interested in rostering him whatsoever. I don't buy it. I will say that if I'm wrong, he'll be a fun character to have in the NFL, and I'll be glad to be wrong.
He does seem like a good character to have in the NFL. Like an interesting personality.
He and Jackson Dart are fun together, and Dart likes him, and I'm sure he's got more of a career than I see for him. I really am just gonna be soured because I have 0 shares, and I don't want him to have any success for that reason. But I didn't draft him at all because I just never bought it. I just don't buy it. And Mason, I feel like is sooner than later going to take over for Aaron Jones.
Yes, say nice things about Jordan Mason.
He says too many nice things. You'll trade Jordan Mason tomorrow. So,
Jordan Mason is overvalued.
He's like a son. He's like a son to me.
This is interesting here, though. The Mason last year had a few like running back, like top 5 weeks when he was covering for McCaffrey, but now he finds himself in what at best is a timeshare. What kind of production are you actually expecting to get out of Mason this year?
I'm just hoping that he gets carries. He's going to see early down work.
Yeah, he's gonna get touches.
Yeah, they're going to split. They want to keep Jones healthy for the season. They have expectations of being a playoff team, potentially playing late in the season. Aaron Jones, as good as he is, has always been at his best when he's kind of splitting carries and being used more efficiently as far as getting touches through the passing game, which Jordan Mason is terrible at. Do not play him on passing downs, please. He's awful. He does not need to be on the field there. But if you can use him as an early down banger, Maybe he gets some goal line work, although I don't think he's that much better of a goal line back than Aaron Jones is, despite being a bigger back. He wasn't real efficient there last year. But if he can take some of the early carries, I mean, at this point, I'm looking for anything in my running back 2 spot. I just need somebody who's going to get carries week to week, and that's hopefully what I get from him.
Yeah.
I think as an Aaron Jones manager, you're happy that Jordan Mason, like a player like Jordan Mason, is there.
Yeah, because it leaves the runway for Aaron Jones to play all of the passing down snaps and still have a share of the early down carries.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good offensive system. I don't know how much running back work there will be to go around this year compared to last year.
Probably more based on the quarterback.
Yeah. McCarthy's likely to scramble a little bit more than Darnold was, so that could eat into it. But also,
I just think they're gonna kind of protect him and use a
so.
lot more, lean on the running game a lot more than they did last year. Yeah. They're also down half of their receiving core right now to start the season, so
that's why they should bring in Osborne. We already went over this.
You're definitely going to ease them in if they can.
Yeah. All right. So the bottom half of this room, Algier is a top end backup, but he's just a backup behind Robinson. He's not going to get more than a few carries a game spelling him unless something happens. Isaiah Davis, there's been talk of that 3-way timeshare in New York, but he looks like he's probably just the number 3 behind Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Sanders had a shot in Dallas. I don't know. Anybody got any opinions on these guys?
No, it's Javonte. Javonte won the job pretty clearly. That's the reason they held him out of the preseason. They know that he's locked in. There will be some work for Miles Sanders because, it's Javonte and there's not a ton of other players there to absorb carries. Who's currently banged up and is undersized.
Most of these are players that should be on a roster.
Yeah, they should be rostered, but they're
these are all depth pieces or role players. I mean, guys like Davis, he may play on passing downs.
How come Land Larison is even on here?
Because he's IR eligible and he's
but like KTC even rates it. You know what I mean? But like the other stuff that they won't.
Well, I think Dynasty Daddy pulls the players, and if they're not on KTC, it just assigns a 0. Like you see, he's got other zeros. If you look. You mentioned Kolar earlier. Kolar.
Yeah, but you had a guy that wasn't on the there's frequently, especially in this league, there's frequently players that are not listed on this.
If they weren't on KTC, it wouldn't pull him at all. So he must be on KTC with no value.
That's true.
He's been added, but nobody wants him, except for me because I have an
he
open
had like
IR
a little
spot.
tiny spike there for a minute. He got like a little he was steaming up a little bit.
Yeah, he got hype in mini camp. Actually, it was just what it was.
He was a really good pass catching back in college, but he's on there because I have currently an open IR spot.
Maybe
when
he
that
makes
IR
the
spot,
squad.
When I need that IR spot for somebody else, then he's going to be jettisoned.
Yeah. All right, we should mention Ty Johnson, Emmanuel Wilson, and LaQuint Allen just because we haven't said their names yet. But this is just more backups.
Yeah. Emmanuel Wilson might be like the primary backup, right? I mean, that's legit. Ty Johnson always seems to have some kind of role. LaQuint Allen is another Syracuse guy. He's going to do something, I mean,
a lot of these guys are pure passing down backs. Ty Johnson, LaQuint Allen, those guys could potentially play a lot of third down snaps. I don't think even with injuries in front of them, they're going to get a lot of carries, but they have a role. I'm just trying to not get a 0 every week. So anybody that's going to be on the field is useful to me at this point until I can upgrade my running back room, which I have been trying, but again, no one's really looking to sell right now, so it may take a couple of weeks.
I could trade you Dave Montgomery.
I don't have Darren Waller, sorry.
You should be. Yeah, all those guys that you said are basically third down backs. All it takes is essentially one drive of them catching like 2 or 3 checkdowns, and they give you 8 points, and hey, all of a sudden your RB2 doesn't get you 0.
Right. Hopefully my team is constructed where the rest of the roster can kind of carry the empty running back 2 spot. That's kind of the way it's been built the last couple of years. It worked out pretty well 2 years ago. Last year came up a little bit short. But hopefully everyone's got a hole somewhere. Most people have it at a tight end spot. I just happen to have it at a running back spot.
All right, yeah. So you said hopefully the rest of the roster can cover up for it. Let's take a look at the rest of the roster. You have a wide receiver rank of 6. That's wrong because this room has Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave. You've got Ayuk, who's still injured, but Jacoby Myers, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, and Sterling Shepard. One of these things is not like the other.
It's not the room it was a couple of years ago. Some of the shine has come off of these guys like Waddle and Olave and Ayuk. So they've dropped quite a bit in the eye of the community. They just haven't been productive. They've been hurt, unproductive. So it's not surprising. I do have 2 anchors at the top, like you said, but yeah, I've been struggling for depth, trying to piece it together. I've traded for a lot of old guys this offseason, added guys like Shepard, Hopkins, Keenan Allen. So hopefully I can get some production before these guys retire.
How long have you been chasing Keenan Allen in this league?
How long has this league existed?
All right, Big. What's your opinion on the Stars and Scrubs wide receiver room here?
I feel like Al is the type of manager that's going to go after depressed assets. And so, especially in the running back room, which we already covered, with the wide receiver room, like he said, some of the shine is taken off these guys, but I think that's why he was able to acquire them at the price that he did. And I think that it's a pretty nice room. I like Jacoby Myers and Keenan Allen and Christian Kirk down there at the bottom. And obviously the top is very strong. So I see what you say about, like, they may not be on the trajectory that they were as rookies and sophomore players, but I feel like the reason you have them on the roster is because you're able to get them at the right time.
Yeah, adding Kirk before he signed with the Texans and appears to have won the starting job was a nice addition.
Right. I might be, making up historical facts here because I don't exactly know how you acquired all these players. I'm just assuming that that tends to be your style is, hey, who's hurt or who's, who is the community undervaluing right now that actually is going to score more points than people think. And I think that's an effective and appropriate way to build a roster. And I think that's why all the top teams are at the top, is identifying those guys when they're low, buying low, classic dynasty.
Yeah, for me, it usually ends up being old guys, especially old running backs.
Right.
Well, I mean, the first 2 names on this list are all relatively young, but then once you get to Myers, you got Myers, Kirk, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, and Shepard. The average age there has got to be close to 30, if not over it. So it's at the top, it's a young room. At the bottom, it's an old room. You're going to get production pretty much across the board, though. It's just a matter of do Waddle and Olave rebound to what they were before.
It's that middle. You need the middle to break right. And I think Waddle is going to be better than he was last year. And Olave depends on Rattler and Shook.
Yeah. A lot of it is health. Can these guys stay healthy? Can their quarterbacks stay healthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Big had some good analysis there. These are guys that were depressed at one point, and I like that the Lamb Dak stack is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could pay some dividends this year. It looks like they're going to have to throw 45 times a game.
Right.
So there we go. We're going to move over to the tight end room. This tight end room is a rank of 2, which means that at some point this year, all 4 of us had the tight end rank of 2. That's bounced around quite a bit. All right, you've got at the top T.J. Hawkinson, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, and then we've got some newcomers in Elijah Arroyo, Harold Fannin, some older stalwarts, Dallas Goedert, Elijah Higgins. I can't believe I let you get Fedone, and Charlie Gallardo. So obviously Hawkinson, Njoku, and Ingram at the top are the big veteran names who are reliable and going to produce.
The goal was to have 4 startable tight ends that I can at least count on for some production every week, and that was Hawkinson, Njoku, Ingram, and Goddard. And then in the draft, since I was not able to trade away all of my picks, I was forced to draft some players. So I ended up hitting the tight end heavy and taking a couple of young tight ends to kind of pair with the older vets. This league is stupid for tight ends, and no one ever has enough tight ends. And tight ends are a very liquid commodity because everyone needs them almost as much as we talk about how draft picks can be universal currency. Tight ends, especially young tight ends, can be universal currency in this league. So it's nice to have them around in case I need to make a move and acquire a different player.
I think Evan Ingram and best ball in the potential whatever the hell a Sean Payton Joker role is. I think that'll be fun because it's pretty low floor, high ceiling, I think. I think there's a world where he just totally fades, and then I think there's a world where he's a top 5 tight end. And he's right there in the middle of your room. So I think that's a very critical piece of your tight end room. Because we've seen RJ Harvey might be a joker, and Evan Ingram might be the joker.
I was going to say, didn't they say that Ingram isn't like fitting into the Joker role that well or something?
No, he said he's already got his Joker wings. I don't understand the Joker thing. Like, it
I don't
seems
get
like
the Joker
anyone
either.
can be the Joker. It's not like it's a nebulous thing. Like, Joker
Sean
isn't actually a role. It's
They
a
just want he
mentality
just wants
or
us
an
talking.
idea for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Sean Payton
Right,
just
yeah.
wants to sound like he has something cool.
Right.
Yeah, the Joker
'Cause he
is
had Jason
basically the Joker is someone that they can go to in a one-on-one matchup and hope that he wins. That's what it is. It can be any position. It's just someone that creates a matchup problem for the defense. So it could be a running back, could be a tight end. I mean, could Ingram fill that role? He's faster than most linebackers. You know, he's bigger than most safeties. He could potentially fill that role, but who knows? Right now, if the preseason is any indication, he's not going to be anywhere close to a full-time player. Troutman's going to be out there for a lot of snaps, all of the early down snaps. So he's going to have to be very efficient with the snaps that he is out there and earn a lot of targets on third downs and passing downs. He's not going to get the volume that we see from a normal tight end playing every down.
But in tight end premium best ball, that's fine.
Right, because it's not a high bar to clear to be a productive tight end in this format.
Right.
If you catch 2-3 passes a game, you're in most people's starting lineups.
Yeah. I just say I wouldn't want him as my tight end one in a lineup league.
Right. In a lineup, it's a different story. Best ball, you have a little bit more leeway because you don't get the bad weeks. You only get the good weeks. And I have enough depth, hopefully, theoretically, that the bad weeks won't hurt me because I'll have someone else that can start.
Right.
All these tight ends, your rookie tight ends have gained value. Like, they've all kind of gone up in value since the draft. Each
All
of
the
them
rookies,
has started steaming up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these are, I didn't have a choice. These are the two that fell to me, but I was secretly hoping that these two were going to be the ones that fell to me.
Wasn't Fedone a rookie?
He is. Thank you.
Yeah, but I didn't draft him.
I was going to make the correction, but you beat me to
Oh,
it.
you didn't draft it. You didn't draft it. Well, still, no, I just mean that you have them since the draft, their value has.
So one interesting thing here with having Njoku and Fannin on the roster is that they're on the same team, and that kind of limits the amount of upside you can get from those two players. Have you given any thought to trying to diversify your team there? There's always a market for tight end, and there's always a market for rookie tight ends.
I'm always thinking about trading every player at all times. This is not a. I really liked Fannin. I mean, he was the guy that I was hoping would fall to me. I am not happy that he's behind Njoku. I was hoping he would go to a room where he could immediately contribute, and we're probably not going to see that. I mean, I think they'll use him in packages, but yeah, he's probably more of a longer term play. Maybe not for this year, maybe going forward with Njoku being a free agent next year, and the Browns probably looking at a hard reset after this season's over.
Yeah.
I think I heard that they might trade for Kenny Pickett for next year.
Trade
I
him
bet
back.
he's more involved than all.
In the preseason, he played a lot. He basically
Yeah.
split snaps with Njoku. They used a lot of two tight end sets. Another team that doesn't have a really deep receiver core. They cut Deontay Johnson to keep multiple undrafted rookie wide receivers. It's not a heralded room behind Jerry Jeudy, especially with Tillman banged up right now.
Yeah, if he was a pure backup, I would consider selling him. But the fact that he's supposed to have a standalone role, and like you said, Njoku is probably going to move on to another team next year, I feel like you'd be hurting yourself to split those guys up. Just get all the tight end points in Cleveland for 1 year. And then next year, if Njoku goes and signs somewhere else, probably be the top free agent tight end.
We've said it time and time again. If there's any passing offense that you absolutely want to lock down a piece of, it's the Cleveland Browns.
Joe Flacco, man. I mean, that's he's going to throw the ball so much.
Well, they currently have 2 running backs on the 53-man roster, so I assume they're not planning on running a lot if they're only going to roster 2 running backs for the season.
Well, with a mobile quarterback like Flacco, it doesn't really matter if you have a good running back in there.
I was obviously collecting Pickett's, but once he got moved, then I was like, okay, well, I guess Flacco's going to play a lot longer than I expected him to play, because there's no way those rookies are going to.
Yeah, neither one of them seem like they're even close to ready.
Yeah, it's not happening.
This is trending to be our longest episode ever, so we're going to move on to the draft capital here because this is a long one.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize. We're all at fault for this one. 2026, you've got some extra capital. You've got your own first, second, your own fourth. You also have an additional first attached to Criddle's roster, an extra second attached to Flea's roster, an extra second attached to Judd's roster, an extra second attached to Flinch's roster, and an extra third attached to Judd's roster. It's a lot of second round picks you've got there, and an additional first.
Money round.
I learned that from Big last year. It served me well. I got Elijah Arroyo and Harold Fannin and Cam Scadaboo added to my team this year with all my seconds I had last year.
And you traded out of one of them. I don't remember what you traded for.
It seems easier to acquire second round picks than any other round.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite as daunting as giving up a first, but it's still, useful for players. All right, real quick before we get into that assessment. Also in 2027, you have all your own capital and an extra second from Big, an extra second from JMC, and an extra third from Flea, extra fourth from Big. So you've got extra capital in both of the next 2 years, including an extra first and 6 extra seconds. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra seconds. So there's a lot of excess capital that can, we've seen you do this pretty much every year, go into the season, and then if you're contending and someone else is not, you start buying up those running backs or those receivers or whatever. I assume that's your plan going forward.
That's always the plan.
Yeah.
Stay flexible, keep liquid assets, so hopefully I can cash them in when I need them. Although last year I had a really hard time buying pieces down the stretch. It did not really work out. Somehow they all ended up on Big's team. I don't really know how that happened. It just I didn't have a lot of luck last year, so we'll see how this year goes.
Well, he spent most of his capital, so you have a little bit extra to spend this year.
We inch closer to 2028 every day.
I want to know who's the first one that's going to break into those picks.
I don't personally want to, because I don't want the asterisk next to my championship.
Asterisk? Why would there be that?
Oh, he had to sell his 28s to get it done.
No. A title's a title. It doesn't matter how it happens. The
money spends all the same.
Yeah, exactly. No one. I can't imagine anyone saying that.
Because that check.
You can't.
We're gonna poo-poo it either way, man.
You can't talk me into it, guys.
I am 100% sure I could talk you into it with the right player.
Right? Yeah.
Wait till week 2.
Week 2. This man was just saying 20 minutes ago how he was saying that the league doesn't trade as much as we used to. He's ready right now. All right, so this is what we've seen from you a lot. You work the phones constantly. You get the extra capital. You're going to spend it. We know you're allergic to actually making draft picks, and didn't stop complaining for weeks leading up to the draft when you actually made those picks this last year. So I'm sure all of these will be gone by the time the 2026 draft actually rolls around.
We can only hope.
All right, any final thoughts on Al's roster before we move on?
2026 class sucks. Don't buy his picks.
There you go. Thank you, Big. All right. We're going to move on to Mel's team. Mel with a 90% chance to make the playoffs. He has the overall rank of 5, starter rank of 3, and we're going to start at the quarterback room. Quarterback rank of 3. Josh Allen, number one player ranked on pretty much every platform. Justin Fields, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, Spencer Rattler, and then Kirk Cousins and Riley Leonard backing things up.
That's a lot of starters.
That's a lot of starters. Now, we don't know exactly.
Well, I'm including Riley Leonard in like week 7 and Kirk Cousins as well. So
How dare you, sir? We don't know exactly how long Russ is going to stay the starter. We don't know exactly how long Spencer Rattler is going to stay the starter. But Allen, Fields, and Smith look like they've got some leash to them, obviously. This quarterback room, you have Josh Allen, who's going to give you the best scores every week. Justin Fields, who's going to use his legs probably as much as he ever has and could legitimately put up 1,000-yard season rushing. And then Geno Smith, who provides that veteran presence. The other guys, if you get anything out of them, it's a bonus. Mel, how do you feel about the quarterback room you've assembled here?
When Fields got that job, man, I got bailed the fuck out.
You have been the consummate Fields supporter from the word go. You've been a believer the whole way through here. So let's hope it pays off for you.
Yeah. Well, listen.
You're going to get this year regardless.
No one's trying to trade for him. So, right. Yeah.
When he starts, he scores fantasy points. That's all that matters.
Yeah. This is a fine, I wish that Russ and Rattler's time in the sun didn't overlap. Like I wish that maybe I could get like early season from Russ and late season from Rattler or something like that. But
here's the thing. You're probably going to get early season and maybe then again late season from Rattler because they're not going to stick with Chuck.
Yeah. Well, they're going to bring in Jameis or something, right? I mean,
yeah, who knows? I still don't know why the Giants haven't tried to trade him.
I'm surprised that they kept all 3 of those guys on the roster.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that Jameis was basically Russ insurance, make sure he didn't get hurt in the preseason. And then once they made it through, they were going to flip him like we saw other backup quarterbacks get moved, like Kenny Pickett. I thought for sure there was going to be a market because somebody was going to get hurt and they would flip him. But apparently they're willing to go into the season with all 3 of them.
Someone out there must have like called and offered a 6th-round swap or something like that. Anything Jameis is never going to be the future of your team. And you know that if you're going to make a switch, you're going to go to Dart. So what's the point of having him there?
Yeah, this is a good best ball quarterback room. I mean, you've got your anchor, you've got Josh Allen, and then you've got a bunch of other guys where, I mean, 4 other guys, you only need one of them to put up a respectable score in your lineup every week. You've got enough options. I
was trying to shop one of the low end guys. But yeah, it's thank you. That's the goal.
This is what I was going for, but a bunch of my guys didn't make it. So
3 to 5. If Rattler had not beaten out Shug, you both have 4. You'd both be in that range.
Yeah, but if AR panned out, I mean that's you get the.
I'm personally licking my chops for Geno Smith shares right now. Like I think he's gonna do so well, and every time I open up our league to try and trade for him and I see that you've got him, I'm just like, well,
same.
That's a bummer.
Same feeling.
But I'm so excited. I'm so excited for him. So I think he's a very, very perfect, strong quarterback 3.
Solid veteran. He's going to be very consistent.
Yeah, between his floor and Justin Fields' ceiling, I mean, that's your ideal quarterback 2 spot.
Yep.
You're never going to get a 0, and you got a chance to get a really good spike week if Fields runs for a couple touchdowns. So, it's well constructed.
And he's perceived as old, but he's not going to retire in a year. I think he's got several in him. So, great piece.
I mean, he didn't play for fucking what seemed like a decade.
Yes, 7 or 8 years, barely started.
True.
Between getting his jaw broken.
One of the weirdest. And the fact that his resurrection didn't end in Seattle and that he was able to get another contract after that is really just wild.
Let's go on to this running back room. Our running back rank of 6, right in the middle of the pack. We have at the top Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, and Ramondre Stevenson. After that, we drop into some backups. Well, I guess Ramondre's probably a backup. Who knows? This is a good best ball group here. You have Brees Hall at the top, DeAndre Swift at the top. Those guys are going to catch a lot of passes. How do you feel about it, Al?
I would love to have this running back room in best ball. Again, this is a very well-constructed room. There's a lot of bodies, a lot of guys that are going to see a lot of carries, and he did good work this offseason improving this, picking up Brees Hall, Stevenson during the draft. I mean, those were big additions. It really helped kind of flesh out this room, make it a lot deeper than it was previously.
Mel, how do you
they
feel?
were big ads.
How do you feel now about that Brees Hall and Harvey? RJ Harvey. How do you feel about that trade a couple months down the line?
Isn't Hall younger than him?
They're pretty close.
I've always been a Brees guy, so
7 years.
Yeah.
Does
I've always been a
Brees have his
guy, so it
Joker
was
wings?
nice. That sounds so weird.
That's the way he puts it. It's not my
It's
phrasing.
like a little fucking tramp stamp.
Ask Sean Payton.
Doesn't.
No, it's a.
What was the deep sigh from?
That was big. Are you still happy with that trade? Is basically what I'm asking.
I don't remember exactly what it was. I think if it looking back, I think I paid more than a first for Brees, and maybe that was a little aggressive, but it wasn't like a lot more. And I didn't want RJ Harvey, so
Swift, Pollard, and Jones, three guys who appear to be at the top of their respective backfields, but none of whom Pollard probably is fully secure, but neither one of them I would say is fully secure as the clear, unquestioned number one with no hint of anything behind them. But all of them should maintain their number one status throughout the year.
Yeah, it's a bunch of running back twos that have running back one spikes in their profile.
It's just not that one sexy guy. I mean, Brees is close, but for me, this is a best ball lineup, not a dynasty.
Everyone's in danger of losing some work, but no one's going to be completely phased out.
Right.
That's a much more succinct and better worded version of what I was trying to say.
Yep.
Sweet. Thanks. Rare win.
You're stealing my job.
It was well said.
All right, so we got Ramondre, who's looks like he's going to platoon and probably slowly lose his job to Henderson. We got Rashad White and Sean Tucker, who are the 2 and 3 in some order in Tampa Bay. Rico Dowdle, who remains much better than Parker.
Palmer? Who got cut?
I meant Palmer. I meant Palmer, not Parker. I don't know why I said that.
I knew it.
You got cut today, by the way.
Palmer?
Yeah.
Did not survive.
You just wait.
You
just wait.
we will wait. I will wait as long as it takes.
What are we waiting for?
You just wait.
Never wrong, just early.
It's dynasty, baby.
Kareem Hunt, who is going to be the number 2 in Kansas City. And then Cam Akers, who did Cam Akers make the final roster?
Got cut.
Yeah,
No, he's cut.
Oh, maybe he lands somewhere else. He seems to keep finding work. This is solid depth here. Both Rashad White and Sean Tucker have done well with the work given to them. Rico Dowdle's coming off a 1,000-yard season, and I'm sure they don't want to use Chuba at an 85% clip like they did last year.
Right. I mean, it's kind of thin, I think, but, think of it without Brees and without Ramondre. So.
Right. Yeah, it's a much improved. There's a lot more beef here now than there was before the draft.
All right, let's go over to this wide receiver room here. We have a wide receiver rank of 8. At the top, it's pretty good. Jamar Chase, top wide receiver in value right now. A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, and then we drop off to Cooper Kupp, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Xavier Restrepo, who did he make the final roster?
No.
Nope, tough luck. He'll end up on the practice squad. Adam Thielen, who as of the time of this recording is still with the Panthers. Let's pause there because the rest of these guys are. Anyway, Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown give you one hell of it.
Don't you cut out Sky Moore?
If I
That's how you know that I'm not in charge. This would be only about Sky Moore.
Terrible. Al, you were on the Sky Moore bandwagon before it was popular, before he was selected by Kansas City.
They ruined him.
Yeah.
They ruined him.
Well, I'm not sure it was them that did the ruining. Anyway, having Jamar Chase lets you basically do whatever the hell you want at the rest of your wide receiver room. But AJ Brown and DJ Moore as your 2 and 3 is pretty solid too.
Cooper Kupp, man, he may not have dynasty value, but I mean, he's been pretty productive.
Big, who's going to be the wide receiver 2 in Seattle this year?
Cooper Pup.
Okay.
Cooper Pup.
You've been big on the Horton bandwagon, so I wasn't sure if you were going to get frisky on us there.
No, not. I'm too much of a Cooper Pup pan boy.
So, how do you feel, Mel, about DJ Moore with the influx of Luther Burden and Colston Loveland and the new Ben Johnson system in Chicago?
Not encouraged.
Not encouraged.
I don't know. I paid a first for him, and his target share is going to go down. I just read that they're working him into running
taking carries,
the ball. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
always
More
encouraging.
touches. He's a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. You want to get him touches.
There's just, I hate to use the cliche, but there's so many mouths to just gobble up the balls there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean,
Smells everywhere.
we didn't even
I
mention
like Bird.
Zacchaeus.
So, I mean, and Zacchaeus, what the fuck is that? What is that?
That's their slot guy right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Al made fun of me when I drafted Zacchaeus. Did I take him in the startup?
Okay, you don't get to victory lap somebody finally throwing the ball at Zacchaeus like 8 years later.
I absolutely do. I've been victory lapping Juwan Jennings in like the 32nd round for 3 years now.
Yeah, well, no, you were fully.
No, it's I think that DJ Moore's death has been greatly overstated. He's
the wide receiver 1 until proven otherwise.
That's what I mean. I don't have any DJ Moore shares, but I've never had any DJ Moore shares in any league, so I'm kind of removed from the whole situation. But I think people are out on him a little prematurely here.
I mean, are people out on him? I think that aren't people pretty excited for? Is it Ben Johnson?
I feel like people are negative about him.
Are they?
Dynasty value is below Jalen Waddle, so
I don't think anyone's writing him off, but I do think he's the guy, the least sexiest of those three, of Burden, Odunze, and Moore.
yeah.
And people want the shiny thing, and so they're just ignoring the veteran. But I don't think anyone's saying he's going to totally fall off. It's not absolute hate. I just think it's an underwhelming pick for most people. And I agree with Jarsal. I think that's a little overstated. I think he's fine. And I'm also not really a burden guy.
Yeah, I think the only problem for
I
DJ Moore will be if Caleb does not develop the way that they hope, because Caleb is the one that can really torpedo this whole offense.
Apparently, Ryan Poles told Greg Olson that he thought Luther Burden was going to be the best out of all three. And then Greg Olson said that on a broadcast and like he wasn't supposed to. And I just think that's silly.
He said who was going to be the best?
That Poles said he thought Burden would be the best out of the three.
I'll inject that straight into my veins. Thank you.
A year after taking Odunze, fourth overall or whatever the hell.
You got Noah Brown. Oh, I should take credit for drafting him too. I actually think I drafted. I think I picked him up. But anyway, Noah Brown, who will give you some depth. Deontay Johnson got cut today. Demarcus Robinson's going to be suspended, but he'll have good depth. Sky Moore, man, I can't even believe I just said his name.
Sky Moore is going to fucking start for them. Can you believe that?
Barely. They can't keep anybody healthy. I don't understand what is happening in San Francisco.
I don't know. It couldn't possibly be right. Like, at what point does like the NFLPA like start investigating what the fuck is going on with it?
I mean,
the meat grinder.
They just lose guys left and right. How do
Did they hire David Chow and not tell anybody?
oh man.
Oh, the fantasy nerd joke.
All right. Keandre Lambert Smith, he gonna start?
No.
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 All right. Let's go to the tight end room then.
There we go.
Tight end rank of 4, which means that we had the
1, 2, 3, 4.
2 and 4. Big is 3. Yes, we have the 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wonder if that correlates with the contender ranks here. All right, tight
Top
end
4
rank
teams
of
have
4.
the top 4 tight end rooms.
We have
Shocking.
Tucker Kraft, Travis Kelce, Ben Sinnott, Jonnu Smith, Zach Ertz, Noah Gray, Noah Fant, double up on the Noah, and Tyler Conklin. This is a good room. These guys are all functional players. Well, Sinnott isn't yet, but like he should be. Kelce doesn't have the dynasty value, but he's going to absolutely produce. Let's start with Big. Big, how do you feel about this tight end room?
Tucker Kraft is everybody's like, if you don't get the top guys this year, take Tucker Kraft.
Are you
In
play
re-
redraft?
in redraft, that silly little game. And so I think he's a good little room leader there. It's very deep. There's not like a big top end name, but he could be that within a few weeks to or towards the end of the season. I think he might be in that higher tier. Kelsey, man, I don't know. I know he wants to say that he's been distracted the last few years and not playing. And he's gonna get it all together, but I just don't know if I buy it. We'll see.
Oh yeah, and obviously our congratulations to him for the engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
One podcast
I'm sure
goes
he
to another.
appreciates that.
The,
Right.
the best tight end in Mel's room is at the bottom of the list for some reason, and that doesn't make any sense.
All right, Tyler Conklin. There we go.
Yeah, this is a
that.
room. It's a room that doesn't have a lot of dynasty value, but it's a room that's going to provide a lot of production, especially in a best ball where you're not having to choose which one of these 7 startable guys to throw out there every week that are all kind of in the same tier. You just have them all on your roster, and whoever has the best week ends up in the lineup.
One thing
again,
that
another well-constructed room.
very well-constructed room because he saw all of this a little earlier than the community did. I hate to say that in front of him.
Well, you know what? The gauge of whether that is true or not is going to be what happens with Kyle Pitts. Because that was my,
Yeah,
crown jewel for a while.
fair enough. But I guess I mean guys that I just totally don't think matter. Like I did not think Kraft was, like fantasy.
You got so many dudes I just don't want.
No, I did it. I did, and now I'm like, wow, No, I hear you.
I get what you're saying. It's one of those where if you can find value where other people don't see value, and then that value actually materializes into points on your roster, it's basically a superpower for fantasy. And he's saying that you've done that in a with a couple of different guys here, and it's true. Like Conklin was left for dead by a lot of people. Tucker Kraft was written off because he was the second tight end taken, and being able to get Sinnott when he wasn't producing early, that's all guys that.
When Mel made that Tucker Kraft call, Luke Musgrave was still the tight end 1, and there was no indication whatsoever that was going to happen. And same with Conklin. I guess he would have been a Jet at the time.
Ooh, Viking.
Viking, yes. No, even more like
3 teams later.
Buried. Yeah.
Yeah, he was behind Irv Smith of all people.
Yeah.
He was
Irv later. He finally
Smith's backup in Minnesota.
No, but like your buddy will be like, "Hey, should I take Tucker Kraft or this other guy?" And you're just like, "Tucker Kraft? What are you talking about?" Like, and then here we are 3 years later, and I'm jealous of the tight end room. So it's good work.
Thank you.
I'm still kicking myself for not accepting that Tucker Kraft trade you offered me like a year and a half ago.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't either. I just remember you offering me Tucker Kraft and me going, Tucker Kraft, why would I want him? But anyway, yeah, this is a good, very functional tight end room. A lot of depth. You got the young upside with Sinnott, and then you've got, Zach Ertz to balance it out.
And
Noah
most
Gray
importantly,
is going to be the starter soon.
Tyler Conklin.
The Conklin.
All
Yeah.
I
right.
want that.
No,
I want that share so bad.
The Tyler Conklin.
no.
Let's go over to the draft capital. We have a draft capital rank of 6. This is a stars and scrub draft room. We've got your own first round pick and Georgia Mike's first round pick in 2026, and then 2 fourth round picks, neither of which are your own. Into 2027, you've got your own first, second, you've traded your third, you've got your fourth. And we should mention, still no one has traded any 28 picks. So any questions on 28, they're all intact for every team. So double first round picks in this next upcoming draft, but not a lot of mid round picks to work with if you want to shore up, the lower stuff. I've seen you do this a lot where you always seem to keep your own first round pick and then you spend those middle picks and you spend them wisely. But it's always, I look at the team and I'm like, how does he always have his own first round pick? Because you have, like trades where you've added impressive players that, would cost first round picks. But, like right now, you've got that Georgia Mike pick hanging around. So you could always just trade that one for whatever piece you were looking for. It's an interesting way that you manage your draft capital.
It's just hedging. Either I'm going to win the league or I'm going to get an earlier pick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
He wants to be in control of his own destiny.
You can't blame someone for that.
You have to admit, like, at least every team in this league right now that has sold their next first is scrambling to compete. And I mean, it's a bleak situation to be in, because you don't have the capital to pick anything up. I'm generalizing, but it's tough when you are not a contender and you've sold your first in any league, not just this one.
Yeah, you lose a lot of your flexibility. If you have a team that maybe you should look to rebuild, it's difficult to really flip that switch when you don't control your own first. We saw how painful that was for Mr. Good News last year, having to tear down the entire team and still not have his 101, which of course went to our host here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal to like be a spectator to that. You know what I mean? To like watch someone.
And in this league, especially because there are so many teams that are so close together, it's hard to say right now for sure, like, oh, I'm definitely going to be in the playoffs. Let me flip my first round pick and add a player at this point in time. When you get into the season a little later and you're looking like you kind of know where your roster has holes based on injuries and roles changing, at that point, then it's a little more palatable to kind of turn your first into a player. But this early in the offseason, it's hard to be that confident to give up your leverage over your own roster. Unless you got a team like Big, and it really doesn't matter.
Right.
All right. So any final thoughts on this team?
Scary team.
Yeah.
Number 2 for a reason.
Yeah. Guys like Josh Allen and Jamar Chase are absolutely terrifying to go up against on a weekly basis. And to have both of them on the same team is just disheartening. Because you know that if one of them plays on like a Thursday, you just know they're going to drop 40 on you.
Right. It's like 100 points between the two of them on, spike week, and I plan on winning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Considering how deep the rosters and lineups are every week, it's hard to have one or two players that can really swing an entire week for you. But yeah, there are 2 for sure on this roster.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of rosters are lacking, is that one big like, hey, I'm just gonna win this week for you guy. So we're going to go to our final team of the evening and our final team of the entire preview here. Big, you're up. We have an overall rank of 3, a starter rank of 1, and a quarterback room rank of 8. This quarterback room highlighted by Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Jackson Dart. We got a couple of backups, Mac Jones, Will Levis on IR, and Jacoby Brissett. You drafted Dart this year after loudly proclaiming your love all draft season long. So how do you feel about the prospects of Dart starting this year?
I've been kind of bullish on that all along. They say that Brian Dable to develop a guy and show that he can develop a guy, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going to get in week 6 or so. I think he's going to play a significant portion of the season. So I'm just trying to, that's mentally how I've been thinking about it is can I get by with 2 quarterbacks until about week 6? Let's hope that's right.
He's going to come in at some point. It's a matter of when, not if. The problem for him and for the Giants is that they have literally the hardest schedule in the league, and that there's no good time for him to come in and take over, that he isn't going to immediately face like a gauntlet of good defenses on the other side.
Yeah, I just don't see a world where they'd leave him on the bench all season. I know a bunch of Giants fans want that to happen. I don't see the upside in it. I think they need to play him, frankly, but I'm self-interested there. So obviously I'm going to take,
You have Purdy and Kyler as your locked-in starters. These are 2 guys with basically no question of if they'll be the guy for the full year. They both have their contract. They're both on decent offenses here. Speaking of strength of schedule, the 49ers have the easiest strength of schedule. I should mention they do play the Giants. Al, how do you feel about Purdy and Murray as a 1-2 combo?
Yeah, it's a good quarterback room at the top. I mean, we've got Purdy and Murray locked in. Like you said, these guys are going to give you a score every week that should make the lineup. It's similar to a lot of other rosters that we've reviewed, especially a lot of teams in the middle where they have 2 starters and nothing else. The only difference is on this roster, both of the starting quarterbacks are handcuffed. That's something that we haven't seen anyone else do.
Yeah, it's interesting that's a good use of bench spots right there. It is the weekly 0 that you're guaranteed, but also in a best ball, you kind of want that protection if you don't have a very deep position.
Is it a good use of roster spots? I mean,
not for every team. Not for every team. I felt like I was deep enough to handle it.
Yeah, I think in this instance, yes, it is.
I wouldn't say everyone should rush out and do that, but it was I thought I was deep enough to handle it, and I thought that I didn't have a QB3, and so if I lost Purdy or Kyler, then I'm down to 1 quarterback. As simple as that. I don't think every team should take that approach in best ball with those zeros. And also, especially Mac Jones, to a lesser extent, Brissett, I feel like there's starter upside. That's, former starters, guys with experience in the league that are there. It's not just like Kyle McCord or somebody like that.
Oh my God. Criddle in shambles right now.
I was trying to pick a rookie quarterback too, but he's a quarterback 3. Tanner McKee looked great in preseason, but we don't know.
God, you couldn't have picked a different team. He's in shambles even more now. He just fell to his knees.
It's a direct shot. No, but he's looked good in preseason, but he's not got the experience that Jones and Brissett have. So I felt like those were 2 guys that. Okay, Clayton Tune. If the Cardinals, for whatever reason, had stuck with Clayton Tune, I don't think I'd make, bend over backwards to acquire him. Yeah, but Brissett feels like someone that, if he does get that chance, would actually be decent.
Yeah, and I think that's my argument against it is who are the handcuffs you're rostering? If these are really low upside guys where do you really want them starting even if they are starting? Do you need that 8 to 10 points for a super flex spot? Not with the rest of the players you have on the roster. They probably won't start anyway. I mean, at least you didn't really
talk them into trading these guys.
At least you didn't pay anything to get them. So it wasn't like it was a huge investment. You went out of your way to spend a bunch of assets to acquire these guys. But yeah, I think in general,
didn't Brissett look like shit the last time we saw him? Like, wasn't he pretty bad?
I don't even remember when was the last time he actually played a decent number of snaps.
There's a reason that these guys are backups and not currently starting for a different team. There are quarterback spots available in the NFL. These guys have kind of now settled into backup roles, and this is a floor play, right? This is not a ceiling play. If you're handcuffing your own quarterbacks, it's a floor play.
I agree with that to a point, but also we've seen pretty much every quarterback that Kyle Shanahan puts in put up a lot of yards, and it's a floor play, but I think that floor is pretty high. I think that if, let's say, Brock Purdy gets hit by a bus and you end up with Mac Jones starting for, a number of weeks, I think you can count on, 15 to 20 point weeks out of him more often than not because Mac Jones is anything special, but because that system does that.
I think it's aggressive.
Yeah, I think the upside scenario is
go back and look at Mullins.
Mac Jones can parlay this into potentially battling for a starting spot next year on a different team.
Yeah,
that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate upside.
What happened with Sam Darnold? But my point is, though, like every quarterback that starts in that Shanahan offense throws for a ton of yards, and I don't think Jones would be any different. I think he'd throw for a ton of yards.
It's a very quarterback-friendly offense, similar to what we've seen in Minnesota. Not a surprise.
So I don't think it's entirely a floor play. Can't believe I'm defending Mac Jones.
Jacoby started the first 5 weeks of last year.
For who?
What were his point totals for the Patriots?
The highest was.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh,
God, you can't count the Patriots offense last year. I could have played receiver for them.
But I mean, look at his career numbers. If he's getting you double,
they were running Jalen Polk out there every week.
That's a good week.
Listen, I think people should exploit quarterbacks changing teams. If they put bad film out there, the entire community hates them, and then they change teams. And I'm more forgiving with quarterback than any other position changing teams because the coach matters so much to the result. And we've seen it with Darnold, we've seen it with Geno, we've seen it with Baker. It's happened numerous times where a guy looks like dog shit on one team and he changes and plays better. I'm not gonna bet the farm on Mac Jones, but I feel better about him as a backup starting games than I do.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, also, I think it makes sense for your roster to do what you've done here to, just forego the tight end position and just load up on back end.
I think you should roster at least 20 backup quarterbacks for the benefit of the rest of us.
You know what you should do is get the QB3s for these teams.
Competitive balance.
Get the practice squad guys.
I would also like to point out, Al, you and I are on the record like 3 times doubting Big's QB takes in this league, and every time we looked really dumb. So I'm just gonna go with
over
him on
3
this
on
one.
that.
I've learned my lesson.
Not turned out well for us.
When Jackson Dart starts this year, Jacoby is probably going to get dropped at that point.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is someone who I will hold through the season despite injury.
Yeah, because he's still a guy that you could potentially see fighting for a starting job next year.
Right.
That one makes sense. As a reclamation project, we know what Brissett is going to do. And if he starts, he's going to score 8 points. And it's not going to be exciting for fantasy.
If he has a good game.
Right.
Let's move on.
He was good. He was good at a point. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a more exciting room. We're going to move on to the running back room. This running back room is ranked 1. This is exciting. And we got Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, Judkins, who is still not signed, but we expect that any day. Alvin Kamara, James Conner. Let's pause there. And we'll get to the rest of them after that because there's still a lot of good names here, but let's pause there. These are 4 absolutely legit number 1 running backs, and also Judkins, who everyone projected as that and was expected to be that, and then here we are.
What a ridiculous running back room for a best ball.
There's a reason this is ranked 1.
Yeah, well earned running back 1 room.
We'll go to Mel. Mel, what's your opinion on the running back situation here?
It's pretty solid best ball RB room.
Forget best ball. This is solid at anything. Like you tell me, oh man, darn, Alvin Kamara is my number 3. What a shitty situation I'm in.
Well, it's a problem in lineup because then you don't know who to start every week.
You got flex spots.
You got too many good players.
I mean, if the dynasty purists might look at this and say, "Oh, you got a bunch of fucking." I mean, that's 120 years of RB right there. But like, these guys are all going to produce, assuming they stay healthy. And I I'm targeting each of them in redraft as it is. So
Yeah.
um,
To be able
Yeah.
to roll out 4 legit number ones
Right.
is something that I don't think any other team in the league can really do. Who's got
I
the
feel like
number 2
Flinch
room?
or Flea like
Yeah,
came
Flea's
close
got the
last
number 2 room.
year.
She's got Bijan, Taylor, Tracy, Bigsby, ETN, Warren. I mean, Tracy,
Yeah.
Bigsby, ETN, Warren, all those guys are in timeshares. Like she's got Bijan and Taylor, but like after that, it's not legit number ones. Judd, he's got James Cook, but after that, it's just a lot of bodies. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody else in the league can quite match this one. All right, so after these starters, who all these guys look like they're going to catch passes this year. Walker, we catch like 40 passes last year, and they're in a running back catching friendly system now. If he stays healthy, he's going to continue trending up in that regard. All right, but after that, we got Trey Benson and Brian Robinson, who are direct backups to 2 of these important players here in Connor and McCaffrey. But then after that, we have Javonte Williams, who's won the job in Dallas. Jalen Wright, who Big still loves.
Well said. Very,
I didn't know what I was going to say. That's what I went with.
very
Jarquez
diplomatic.
Hunter, who's, we don't know whether it's him or Corum is the number 2 yet. But Taj Brooks, Kendre Miller, Zamir White. Miller's your backup for Kamara. You've got these important guys backed up with high upside backups as well here.
Yeah,
Al, how do you feel about the use of roster space for backups to these important running backs as opposed to the quarterbacks?
Well, these are backups that are high upside guys. These aren't, I know it's his own direct backups, which isn't always the most efficient way to use them, because if you have someone else's backup, there's a chance you end up with 2 starters versus having your own backup. Your floor is always going to have 1. So it's a ceiling versus it's a ceiling versus a floor. He's got Benson, Robinson. He's got a handful of guys that are his own direct backups.
That Brian Robinson trade worked out well for you.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, he'd probably prefer to have Robinson as a starter versus his own backup.
Yeah, but he was just going to get. I mean, I don't know. I didn't. The future wasn't bright. I don't think here, and I guess that was evident by him.
I would prefer to have Robinson as a starter. Then I could trade him Garendo again.
But this is as good of a running back room as you can possibly have in a league that's this deep and this competitive, especially when you're the defending champ and you're trying to run it back. You have all of the running back ones in redraft at the top. I mean, even without Christian McCaffrey, this is the best running back room in the league. And if he gets Christian McCaffrey from a couple of years ago and he stays healthy, I mean, there's good luck. Like, he doesn't even need any receivers because all of his flex are going to be running backs.
All right.
Unfortunately for the rest of us, it could be another long season.
It certainly looks that way here at this point. Big, are you satisfied with your running back room as it stands now, or is this going to be a point of emphasis to add?
It's certainly older than it was last year. I felt a lot more balanced in it. I felt equally as strong, but a lot more balanced with my running back roster last year.
Yep.
I think this year I got talked into buying some older guys. And I kept doing that and kept setting a line for myself that I wouldn't cross and then crossing it. So again, just come into my DMs and talk me into something that I shouldn't do, because I will probably bite.
All right. You got, I'll come let you know about Montgomery in a little bit, because he's old too. So we get you more old running backs. All right, let's take a look at this wide receiver room. Unlike this running back room, this wide receiver rank of 1. Damn it. All right. We got Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton, Tyreek Hill, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. God damn it. Trey Harris, Stephon Diggs, Jack Besh, Jalen McMillan, Rashad Bateman, Cedric Tillman, Deontay Thornton, Christian Watson, Hollywood Brown, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch.
Yuck.
Yeah. One hell of a list here. I didn't want to stop because, like, literally right up until we get to Dortch, these are all like actual legit guys. McMillan
And
hurt
Dortch.
right now. Watson
And
hurt.
Jack Besh.
We'll see with Besh. I'm not giving up hope quite this early, but Nico had a tremendous year last year when he was out there on the field. He missed some time due to health, but having Nico and Tyreek Hill on the same team is freaking scary, man. We were talking with Mel's roster about those guys that could just go out and win you a week. Either one of those guys is perfectly capable of that.
Yeah, there's only a handful of players that could potentially be the wide receiver one overall on the season. There's maybe a handful, and yeah, the two guys here. Hill's done it in the past. He had a steep drop off last year, but that may have been Tua related. If Tua can stay upright all season, probably going to see a bounce back from him. He doesn't look like he's lost a step. And we've seen what Nico can do. I mean, he's blossomed into a clear wide receiver one in this league.
And it seems like most speed guys, like pure speed guys at the wide receiver position, tend, I think, to age all right. If you're fast, you tend to stay fast. I don't know. It's different than at the running back position.
Yeah, they're not getting hit as much.
Right.
Running
Can't
backs
hit 'em if you
age
can't catch them.
running backs age like milk, unfortunately.
Big. How do you feel about your age in this room? Because you've got a couple older guys here as well, like Sutton and Hill, Calvin Ridley, Stephon Diggs on the older side of things. It's balanced out by a lot of youth, but like you mentioned before, you've invested a little bit into the older positions.
I feel much more balanced there. I feel fine with the straddle approach of my wide receiver room. That was intentional. I tried to get older guys. I tried to get some rookie 4th round, 5th round guys, and so I was lucky enough to get some significant players there. So I think I feel pretty good about it. I'm definitely worried about the age of my running back room a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense. Running back it tends to fall off the cliff at a certain point. A lot of wide receivers do hit a cliff, but it comes at different times. I was trying to do it quickly while you were talking. I don't remember your wide receiver room being anywhere near this highly ranked last year. So you've put in a lot of work and a lot of capital into improving this.
I don't think it was this highly ranked weeks ago. I think a lot of it is like guys like Thornton that are, going up in KCC value. That's my guess.
Yeah, this time last year, your wide receiver rank was 8. So this is a drastic improvement since then.
He's added a lot in the offseason. How many of these guys are new to the roster? Calvin Ridley's recent. Harris was a rookie.
And Tyreek.
Tyreek was recent.
Diggs.
Diggs. Right. Beck was a rookie. Thornton, Watson just got picked up. Brown just got picked up. A lot of these guys have been added in the since last year ended. So he's done well to beef this up. Now it doesn't have the same top end as his running back room, but it's got far more depth. There's probably 15 guys here that could get in a lineup every week. It's unfortunately impressive.
Last year when we were reviewing your team, we basically said, it doesn't matter what these wide receivers do because every flex spot is getting filled by the running backs. That's no longer true. You still have the running back to fill all the flex spots, but there's definitely going to be some of these wide receivers popping off every week as well. It's a scary thing when you got the running back rank 1 and the wide receiver rank 1, and they're both legit ranks.
You had that last year. It's just the running backs are outscoring the receivers. So you had like points on the bench.
Yeah.
I'm being propped up a little bit by just having a full IR and just my total KTC value is higher because of guys like Christian Watson that I'm going to get 0 points for.
But I mean, we've reviewed some phony high-ranking rooms before where it's just they roster 20 guys, but most of them are just empty points.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case here. I see a lot of guys that are going to contribute every week.
Right.
So you've got the ceiling with the top end players and you've got the floor of having just so much depth. It's going to be hard for you to have a down week. That's the reason that you're the number 1 ranked team. That's the reason you have the highest playoff odds. That's the reason you're projected for the most wins, because you're going to have a good score every week. It's going to take a good week from somebody else to actually beat you.
And I plan on doing that when I win. All right, we're going to move to the tight end room. This is a tight end rank of 3. This is the cleanest tight end room that we're going to review. This is Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, George Kittle, and Luke Musgrave. This is 3 of like the top 5 tight ends, and also Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, I have the biggest issue with being ranked 3rd at tight end room. I think that's my best room.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just it's
it's
the
hard
lack
to
of
argue.
bodies. If you had a couple more Luke Musgraves in here, it would artificially inflate your score
Right.
where you'd be number 1. But yeah, having 3 of the top 5 tight ends in a start 2 tight end plus a tight end premium deep best ball, there's no one that's going to be able to match that on a weekly basis.
I'm very satisfied with my tight end room, but also I don't have, 2 guys who could legitimately be the tight end 1 this year. Or 3 guys, I guess, because Laporta could, because he's done it before. But like I look at McBride and Kittle, and I would put both of them, as good odds as anyone to be the tight end 1 at the end of the season.
And Kittle looks better every day as San Francisco players just fall left and right.
Yeah. Continuing to explode like Ryan's favorite drummers from Spinal Tap.
And they're not taking away his smelling salts, so crisis averted.
Oh, yeah.
Crisis averted.
He can bring his own smelling salts from home, they said. He just can't have them team issued.
Maybe that's the handcuff I need to acquire. Kittle's backup.
Who is his direct backup right now? Like Warner or something?
We've seen several tight ends shuffle through there, and when
no one ever does
when
anything.
Kittle misses time, they just don't throw to the tight end anymore because they are not Kittle. That's just not how it works.
I just realized I also have Brevin Spanford and Jalen Conyers, and they're not even listed because they're probably not on KTC.
Yeah, guys that aren't on KTC don't show up here, unfortunately. Yeah, so you've got a little bit of extra depth there still, but I mean, we can't really expect much out of either one of those 2. I would wager.
Sure.
I mean,
we can, but Big can. That's different. We got to make sure we clarify that. We can.
I don't expect anything, is what I should say. Let's see. According to the team depth chart, Luke Farrell is Kittle's direct backup. So there you go. Go at him there.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, that seems like a problem, San Francisco.
Yeah, it just changes what they do on offense.
Yeah,
Kittle is just a unique player. There's not many players in the league that can block and be a plus receiver like he is. So it just changes the whole offense. You can't back him up. There's nobody in the NFL that could be his backup because they would be a top 5 tight end somewhere else if they could do what Kittle did.
Right. It's
you might as well just lean into it and you just get a guy that's a good blocker like Farrell, and if you have to play him, you just don't throw to your tight ends anymore.
Yeah. You change up the offense, run through someone else.
Yeah.
All right. It's a very impressive room, but there's really not a lot of analysis here because just the 3 guys are so good. Do you have any hope for Musgrave reclaiming a starting role at any point?
Starting, no, but I do think he's healthier, and I do think he'll catch a little bit more.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm looking for a second contract with him.
Second contract guy, yeah. He's going to be a second contract guy.
Yeah, he was highly drafted, and he didn't look bad his rookie season, so hopefully somebody takes a shot on him. All right, over to the draft capital. We have a draft rank of 11. The reason behind this being Big has 1 2026 pick. It is a 3rd rounder, and 2 picks in 2027, a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder. So there's not a lot to work with here. I mean, obviously all the 28 picks are still there, but pretty much all of the earlier capital has already been expended, and these few picks are from other ventures.
Yeah, but it's not nothing. I mean, we've seen teams with literally nothing, no picks.
That's true. Yes.
Considering the state of this roster and how much talent is already on here, there's not a lot of holes that need to be filled in the season anyway.
No.
Right.
Well, I got those when I acquired the backup quarterbacks too.
It's good to have those 3rd round picks, those 4th round picks to use as like
Sweeteners.
Yes, I was gonna say like leverage is the wrong sweeteners and deals because obviously none of us here are ever done trading in this league, and players will move, and it's always useful to have that third or that fourth to fill in that little extra gap in value that no one really can quantify a lot of the time.
Yeah, sometimes thirds are just the difference between a trade getting done or not.
Exactly.
You throw in a third, and sometimes it makes people change their mind.
Yeah. And eventually those 28 picks either get used or Big decides he's going to save them for a rainy day. I don't know. How do you feel about using your 28 picks?
We're talking, 26 or so.
There we go. Yeah, you have it on record here, folks. He's never going to trade them.
My thirds are on the block, though.
Third round picks always on the block. Well, it's after the money round. Like, who cares?
But I don't want them to be deal sweeteners. They're like the centerpiece of the trade. Come buy my third round picks.
Not the 26 ones, though. That draft is terrible. 27. You want the 27 one.
All right. So any final thoughts on this roster other than that it is terrifying to go up against on a weekly basis?
Awful. Check the schedule. Who has to play him multiple times this year?
Not me.
Those are the teams that are going to just miss the playoffs.
I'm sure I do.
We're going to talk about everybody with the same record, and that's going to be the difference. Who has to play big multiple times?
I think that wraps us up. I think that's all the teams. We've covered everyone. We've covered all the positions, all the draft picks. That's the season preview. Anyone got any predictions on the entirety of the league?
One of the four of us is not going to make the playoffs.
Ooh, I like it. Bold. You could just say me. It's okay.
I don't die.
Everything is going to come down to those picks and when people choose to buy and sell them. And I think that's going to determine, literally everything. I think all three of you guys have the draft capital to significantly improve your rooms if you choose to go all in.
Yeah.
So many teams that are so closely projected. Dynasty Daddy had 5-6 teams that were within a game or two of a projected record, and playoff odds are all tight. So a lot of it could be determined in the first month or so. Teams that start hot, teams that maybe have tough matchups and lose games where they may have beaten other teams, they may decide to pack it in early. We may see teams that start hot and start buying more into the season. So I think a lot of it may be shaped based on the first couple weeks of the year.
I had a good time, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mel, Kamish. Thank you, Big, the defending champ, for joining us. We appreciate your takes, your guidance, your patience. Pleasure having you both on as always. All right, we will catch everybody next time, but until then,
See you in the league chat.
I blew it. Ooh.